Hello everyone and welcome to Throwback Thursday, and I'm going to continue on with the Simpsons. Yes, I'm going to continue on with that. And today is the crazy idea slash a very interesting idea of Bart Simpson and all the pets he has. And let me just tell you, I actually had this idea on Saturday. And then I was thinking about it on Saturday and Sunday, and then I find out that night, Sunday, oh my gosh. Yeah, FXX had the same exact idea. And they actually showed me. Yeah, they actually showed me to make sure I had confirmation of all the pets Bart Simpson had. The funniest part is that they didn't actually show two of the pets I have on the list. So, not to say, Fox XX, you're not doing your job right, but Fox XX, you missed two of them. You missed two of the pets he had. Ha ha! And I can do that because screw Fox XX. Screw Fox XX. Yeah, they should have kept it as free. They should have allowed it to be free. If they would have allowed it to be free that one time when they showed all the episodes, I would actually not rub it in their faces saying, "Oh look, you forgot two pets that Bart had." I'm not sure. I maybe might have missed like the beginning part. So if they did mention the lizards, then thumbs up for them. But if they didn't mention the lizards, I would say, "Oh, dude, wow, that's even worse than what I thought." Anyways, without any delay, let's go for it. So, the first pet that Bart had was, of course, Santa's little helper. And that actually, he appeared in the first episode and he's been around ever since. And I could actually say, oh yeah, because, well, Fox XX did it. The fact that they're like, oh, don't forget, Santa's little helper had a wife. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he actually did get a wife. We don't even know where the wife went, actually. That's the interesting part of this, is that after this episode, we have no idea where Santa's little helper's wife went. We have no idea. Maybe she got adopted or something. But of course, I was just going to say he did have bunches of offspring, which I found out that he actually had 25 puppies. And Mr. Burns tried to kill him and turn him into a vest along with some matching clogs. And, well, he didn't do it because they were all too cute. And by the end of it, Mr. Burns won, or actually gained $10 million due to giving them back to the racetrack. Which, yeah, made Homer very, very messed up. Yeah, it was very, very bad. That sucked. Side note is that after that episode, Santa's little helper was supposed to be fixed. But due to Homer actually showing mercy, he allowed him first to have a last night out where he could actually enjoy himself. And I think he did like maybe a few things. I forgot how many dogs he did. But so Homer was like, yeah, I don't want to have my thing cut or fixed once or vasectomied. So I guess I'll allow you to not get fixed if you continue this contract where you don't have any other dogs get pregnant and you can stay unfixed. Yeah, which later on, his little helper backfired on the deal. And that's when Homer was choking Santa's little helper. Yeah, it turns out he actually found a poodle and had some relations with that poodle. And because of that, I don't know how many puppies it was. Sadly, Fox XX, this is one of the episodes they decided to say, I don't remember this episode. So, because of that, instead of having that episode, they had either A, Lisa with a horse of her own called Princess, or basically giving Homer his lobster episode, which I'm like, that was unnecessary if you were trying to show Bart having lots of pets. Yeah, so good job on that one. But at least I can tell you one thing is that Krusty the Clown actually adopted one of those Greyhound Poodle hybrids. Sad that you don't get to see that dog these days. Of course, as you can see, the first time he had offspring, they actually grew up fast, so technically, if they really wanted to, they could actually continued on with having Krusty having an older version of that poodle, that greyhound hybrid, which that would have been cool. And that's one thing. Another thing that you guys could have actually put in the Simpsons, Lego Simpsons line bag is actually giving us that poodle greyhound hybrid puppy. That would have been cool. Alright, let's jump. Next up is an elephant. Yes, Bart actually got an elephant named Stampy. And this elephant actually showed up at least 2 times. Once where he actually got the elephant from KBBL. And I miss KBBL actually. It has been a long time since we actually seen KBBL on the show, which is very, very sad. But still, yes, he, instead of getting that $10,000 reward, he got the gag prize of an elephant. And eventually the elephant proved that he was costing him a lot of money, and instead of getting their money back, recouping it by selling him to an ivory dealer, instead they basically said, yeah, you need to go to the reserve, take him to the elephant reserve, where they're not going to pay him any money for all that taking care of they did with him, but instead they're just going to be like, well, at least he's safe there, even though we're not going to recoup some of your money. Even though it's like, I can understand it, but on the other hand, someone needs to recoup his money. I'm just saying, someone needs to recoup their money. Well, of course, like they showed in Fox XX Marathon, they did actually have him show up again. So Stampy actually was there to sponsor shoelaces. Yeah, he was their mascot. And he was able to help Krusty get his life back, or at least become a hero again in people's eyes. And Marge actually had a plastic surgery by accident due to Mayor Quimby, and she actually had some nice endowments where lots of people actually got to see her endowments except for us, the audience. Funny that Marge actually was on Playboy magazine, but I bet everyone could say we kind of wish that this version of Marge actually showed up on Playboy magazine instead of her regular self. Sorry, I'm just being a boy here, but I'm just saying for some, I bet chances are they would actually have loved to have her. I guess I should track down that Playboy magazine with Marge in it. I think it's a good idea, but I'm not really much of a Marge fan either way. Next up is Duncan the horse, a.k.a. Furious D. So, with Duncan the horse here, basically what happened is, instead of what I kind of thought, it's been a long time since I saw the episode, is I thought that Duncan the horse was just basically the same story as Santa's Little Helper, but instead, no, he was a diving horse that was very, very messed up and abused. And either A, he was going to go to the dog food factory, or B, someone's going to save him, which that's what Bart did, is saved him. Of course, I kind of remember that episode now, and I'm glad they actually mentioned, wait a minute, hold up, the Simpsons did have a horse once, and basically Homer was like stressed out about it and everything, which, yep, that did happen. That did really happen, and it was cool that this episode helped a bit. Yeah, they kind of hinted at, oh, they had a horse before, but on the other hand, they actually showed they learned from it. Yeah, Homer learned from what happened before, and this time around, he did something different, which actually helped. Yeah, that actually helped. As soon as they gave Furious D, his actual living. But of course, the funny part had to be the jockeys, and the fact that the jockeys are elves. Well, they technically said they're freaks. Yeah, but I think they were more elves than freaks, because they were actually had a tree just like the Keebler elves did. The tree house like the Keebler elves did. Well, anyways, Furious D, we have no idea where in the world he went, but I think first they were looking at some horse girls for Duncan to actually have and enjoy. But we don't have any idea where Furious D went after that, so if you're listening, Matt Groening, show us what happened to Duncan. It's like, yeah, show us what happened to Duncan. Show us what happened to Stampy. That would be cool. That would be very, very cool to actually know what happened to those guys because they were kind of memorable. Next up is a snake that he caught strangles. Yeah. So, and I'm glad they actually showed this episode because I kind of forgot what episode it was. All I remembered was that in the end, basically, you had groundskeeper Willie taking a snake and replacing the fire hose that's not even there in place of the snake. Anyways, so what happened was in this episode, you had Santa's little helper turning into a police officer, and oh man, I forgot that other part. I'm gonna have to get back to the dogs because I forgot one more thing. And of course, if Fox XX forgot that one too, I'm gonna be like, oh jeez. But anyways, hey, I'll pair them together. How about that? I'll pair them together. So, this was the episode where Santa's little helper became a police officer dog. And side note, step back a little bit. Bart had 3 dogs, technically. The third dog, I don't even remember what was chronological order, but I remember that this was the point where Bart actually got a credit card. He was able to buy lots of stuff from this magazine. Not only he bought lots of stuff, but he actually bought a dog, a collie named Laddie. And basically, Laddie was a good dog. Yeah, he was a very, very good dog. But sadly, of course, his credit declined. And when that happened, Bart actually pointed and said Santa's little helper was the dog that he bought for the magazine, and they took him away. And Santa's little helper went from place to place, including groundskeeper Willie, who said, I ate him. I ate his little face, and I ate the little mess that was over there. So it's kind of funny that groundskeeper Willie was kind of adoptive parent for Bart's animals he doesn't want anymore. You kind of can say that's how it went. Either way, so Laddie eventually ended up as a police dog. So that's why it makes sense. So you had Laddie as a police dog, and we haven't seen Laddie for a long time now. And now you have Santa's little helper, who is now a police dog as well in this episode. One smart thing that they could have done was actually show Laddie and Santa's little helper together. Not only that, I guess the crazy part is the fact that, and I know I'm sidestepping, but we only just see 3 police officers these days. We don't even see like the other 5 or 3 to 5 police officers they already had, like way back in the day. So it's very, very sad that it's like, so it's just those 3 cops, and I guess technically the other 3 to 5 cops might have just got fired or they retired or something. Anyways, yeah, so Bart was lonely, and he actually got a snake, a python, for himself. And the python actually loved Bart, protected Bart from Homer strangling, and he actually made Homer pass out by strangling him. And of course, it looks like strangles technically would still be there for Bart even if Santa's little helper leaves again. So that's kind of cool. That would be one good one to have in a Lego minifigure blind bag. That would be one of the good ones. But you're going to have to make like a big, massive snake. Yeah, for it to work. Next up is one I'm not sure that Fox XX did, but if they did, well, thumbs up to you. And that is basically the 2 lizards Bart actually had. And I kind of forgot what type of lizards they were, but I remember they were lizards that actually ate birds' eggs and replaced their own eggs with the eggs they eaten, so that the mother bird, when the eggs hatch, the mother bird gets devoured by the 2 little baby birds, well, baby lizards that come out of the eggs that she thought was hers. That was really, really messed up. But at least the good news is that the sweet release is that Bart actually killed the mother bird, and he took care of the eggs, which it turns out that it was lizards. And then I think Bart named both of the lizards Chirpy Boy and Bart Jr. I think they did that. If not, well, oh well. So yeah, with those lizards, basically they want them dead. Yeah, everyone wanted them dead because they kind of screw over the ecosystem. And because of Bart, the ecosystem got destroyed due to caring for the lizards. Next one was the pigeon, and apparently the pigeon was the last one that Bart got to have. And of course also the cow, so I guess the cow will go first since we're doing kind of chronological order. So the cow, his name was Lou, and he thought it was a girl at first. But Lou was the run of the litter, and Bart actually made him grow very, very strong and very, very fit. So as soon as that happened, Bart was able to get him as a number 1, but messed up enough is that being number 1 with the blue ribbon is that he's the first in the cutting line in the slaughterhouse. Of course, Bart was able to save, well, first Bart tried to attempt to save him by giving Mary Spuckler, who actually is his ex-girlfriend in later years, or seasons. Yeah, he gave her the cow so she can protect it, but sadly, due to Hill folk law, giving a cow to a girl actually means that you are proposing marriage. So he was trying to do that and save her, but Marge had a different idea. And because of that, Marge basically just did the following, which is had Homer be the duplicate cow. He goes to the slaughterhouse, while Lou actually gets saved by none other than Apu. Yeah, so Apu sends Lou to India now, and yeah, saved Lou's life. Last but not least is the pigeon, which I don't even know what his name was. I don't even think they gave him a name. But anyways, so this carrier pigeon that got hurt due to a storm or something. Yeah, so Bart took care of him. After he took care of him, now he was trying to release him, but the pigeon actually was like, nah, we shouldn't part from each other. And because of that, he actually uses the carrier pigeon for carrier purposes, giving notes to people. And almost everyone actually used it for a purpose, and he actually got some money on the side. But sadly, Santa's little helper, it was like the 3rd or 4th time that Santa's little helper did something crappy to make everyone pissed off, especially Bart. So that was really messed up that he actually ate that bird. That was really messed up. And of course now we have the ones down like, oh, Fox XX, you forgot he had those two? These two pets right here, the only way you knew about these pets is if you actually watched an episode and they were like way down an episode. We didn't even get like an actual introduction of Bart gets a frog or Bart gets hamsters. No, instead we just get like some side notes. So in this episode where the school actually went from being a normal school into one half being a boys' school and another half being a girls' school, you had Bart actually having a frog, and he named him Bart Jr. And we actually saw in that episode that he actually had a frog. And plus in other episodes we find out that, well, actually in a pigeon episode we find out that the frogs, he had lots of frogs apparently taken care of. So I guess that was a little nod, but on the other hand it's kind of like we still didn't actually see him have a frog in hand except for this episode I'm mentioning. And as for the hamsters, this was the time where Bart actually got a rocket. And yeah, the nerds from an episode of The Simpsons where Homer was trying to get his college degree and they helped him. Yeah, so Bart had like a couple of hamsters. He had a boy hamster, a girl hamster, and maybe 5 little hamsters, but the mom ate a few of them. So they had the boy hamster being the astronaut, being inside of the rocket, and the hamster was smart enough to, at some point, he decided to press the eject button and get out of there. Meanwhile, the rocket went all the way into the church and got destroyed and damaged the church. Well, anyways, that was all of Bart's pets that he had recently. Yes, Fox XX kind of screwed up a little bit on the whole thing of, well, we thought that didn't count. It's like, well, it did count. It's just that we didn't actually get introduced to those 2 pets, but Bart had pets. Bart had a frog. Bart did have hamsters. I would say, side note, he did also have a fish, but I think that was a family pet. Well, anyways, Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Throwback Thursday featuring The Simpsons.